Hi everyone, I'm Belinda, and today in the studio we're going to make a Linocut. This is a piece of burlap backed unmounted linoleum, and this is a play on pattern here. So what I'm going to do is use rubber stamps to create some of the pattern on the block and then carve around that pattern. The first print that you'll see in the video will be a gray ink, and then the second print after more cutting on the block will be a gray and black print. This is called Pie Inspectors, and it was really fun to make, and let's have a look. I've got a little grid on my sketch to the left and a scaled version of the same grid on my Linocut plate so that I can transfer the design. To mark the areas that I don't want anything carved out, I've used a black Sharpie marker, and I've used pencil to mark the areas that I will print in gray ink. When I'm ready to start carving, I use a wooden bench hook, some non-skid, and a wood block spacer or a book. A spacer is useful to keep your work closer to the edge of the table and closer to your hands. The first thing that I'll carve is everything that doesn't have black or gray on it. I'm using a V-gouge to create a channel around the areas that I'm going to clear. As I clear each of those window panes, the channel will give me a start and stop place for my knife. Carving a channel like this is a preference and not a rule in printmaking. It's just my preference. I'll put links in the Show More section for 2 other videos that I've done on linoleum block printing. Both of them go over block preparation and setup preparation so that you're ready to start carving. Having a variety of knives here is very useful. You can see that I'm using a very tiny knife for some fine line work. The V-gouge gives you the option to go deep, which makes a wide mark, or shallow, which makes a narrow mark, and then a U-gouge is great for clearing large areas pretty quickly. This is a U-gouge, and I'm clearing the area of the apron, and you can see that it is literally shaped like a U. I use 2 different brands of carving knives, and I'll put links to both of those in the Show More section beneath the video window. When you're carving something like this, all you're really doing is preserving your drawing. So you carve everything except the drawing. And while you're working, take your time, listen to an audiobook or some music, because this is not a fast process. This video clip is day number 3 of carving. I'm making channels again around small areas that I know I'm going to clear. The knife I'm using is one of 4 that come in the Flex Cut Micro Palm set. The word palm refers to the short handle that fits against the meat of your palm. There's a longer handled version in the background on this clip. It might seem like a luxury to have a variety of tips and sizes in your knives, but I believe that you need small knives for detail and large knives for clearing, and good quality on each. Here I've switched to another U-gouge by a different company. This is called Power Grip. They're made in Japan. And I'm using my thumb and fingers to rock the knife to cut through the linoleum slowly but precisely. Now I've switched back to the longer handled Flex Cut tool. This is a smaller U-gouge. Here I'm using a drafting brush to clean the plate. Before inking, I want to tear paper to the size that I need to make my prints. In printmaking, it's traditional to tear paper rather than cut it, so I have a cork-backed ruler. That's a metal ruler with a relatively small, sharp edge, and I can pull the paper against the ruler to tear a nice, clean line. The area between the block print image and the edge of the paper is called the margin. I've put a 2-inch margin around my print, but this amount varies from artist to artist. The first color rolled on the plate is a transparent gray. This color was made with a good amount of Aqua transparent base and 1 drop of Aqua black ink, lamp black. It was stiffened with Aqua Mag Mix, which is a magnesium carbonate. I pulled 8 gray prints against BFK Reeves printmaking paper. Before I print on top of these prints with black ink, I have to make a map of where I want to preserve the gray. Everything I carve from the block now will show as gray, and everything I leave on the block will print black. These are called reduction prints because you're reducing the surface area that you can ink and print from. They're also called suicide prints because you can't put back what you've carved out.
In the process of more carving, I've decided I want more pattern along the base of the print, so I'm going to use rubber stamps to create some. These are Mars Statler erasers that I carved about 30 years ago, but they still come in handy. After deciding which pattern to use, I'm tapping it on white ink and then repeating it along the bottom area of black, and I'll just carve into all of those shapes. If you decide to try this, you don't have to use handmade rubber stamps. You can use machine-made and store-bought rubber stamps as well. Everything I leave on the plate at this point will print dark black on top of the gray. This is the notebook I use to keep track of color blends and the effect of modifiers on the ink. This is straight black Akua ink unmodified. The block will be laid face down on top of the gray print and aligned before flipping and printing again with a metal spoon. When printing a reduction print, there's always going to be some that'll be thrown away, either from misalignment or glitches elsewhere, so pad your expectations by making extra prints on your first color run. This was the 4th day in the studio working on this print. The board the Linocut was mounted to at the beginning of the video came off. One of the nice things about doing a 2-color print is that the second color, the black, has enough detail that it can be printed by itself and then enhanced with other media like watercolor to make a second variation of the addition. This is Jack, and he is not allowed on this table. I'm using a metal spoon in small circular motions with a lot of pressure to transfer the ink to the page, and I can lift the corners of the page to check my work as I go.
So there you have it. That was a linoleum block print in 2 colors using the reduction method and some rubber stamps. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. If this was helpful to you at all, please leave me a thumbs up so I know, and don't forget to subscribe because I have a lot more goodies on the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.